Welcome back to the Schopenhauer Cure, where we're walking that thin line between philosophy and psychotherapy. Last time, we met Dr. Julius Hertzfeld, a therapist who gets the shocking news that he has just 1 year to live. Today, we're diving into the mind of the thinker whose ideas completely changed one of his former patients and are about to challenge everything Julius believes about healing. We're talking about Arthur Schopenhauer.
So you have to wonder, right? How on earth could a philosopher from the 19th century supposedly cure a man living today? Well, to get to the bottom of that, we first have to understand the man himself.
So who was this guy, Arthur Schopenhauer? Born way back in 1788, he kind of had a privileged start. His dad was a wealthy merchant, and his mom was a novelist who absolutely loved the social scene. He grew up traveling, surrounded by culture. But here's the thing. He always felt like an outsider, like a stranger just looking in. And from a really young age, he had this deep gut feeling that behind all the glitter and activity of life, there's something dark, a restless driving force behind it all.
And that really brings us to the central question of this entire story. Is it even possible for a set of ideas, no matter how brilliant they are, to actually heal a person? Can pure thought take the place of human warmth and connection? This is the very battleground we're about to step onto.
Okay, so what was this dark, restless force that he sensed everywhere? Schopenhauer gave it a name, and honestly, it's the single idea at the very heart of his entire philosophy. And it might just change how you see, well, everything.
He called it the will. Now hold on, this isn't willpower, like when you're trying not to eat that cookie. For Schopenhauer, the will is this huge, cosmic, blind, and endless striving. It's the force that makes a plant grow toward the sun, an animal hunt for food, and a person chase ambition or love or power. It is the insatiable engine at the very core of all existence.
Schopenhauer put it so bluntly it's almost startling. Life is the will made visible. Think about that for a second. He's saying that everything we do, our ambitions, our struggles, our entire lives, is simply a manifestation of this constant, unquenchable wanting. We are the will in action.
And here's the consequence, straight from the man himself. Because the will is always in a state of wanting, of lacking something, our lives are basically defined by suffering. I mean, think about it. Even when you get what you want, that satisfaction is so fleeting. A new desire immediately pops up to take its place. It's this endless cycle, a wheel of suffering we just can't seem to get off of. So if life is fueled by a will that guarantees we suffer, what's the solution? It's definitely not what you'd expect. Schopenhauer's answer wasn't about self-improvement or thinking positively. It was something far, far more radical.
His path was one of renunciation. He basically argued that real wisdom begins when we stop chasing the illusions that the will creates. The whole goal is to quiet that internal striving. He believed this was possible in two key ways: through deep aesthetic contemplation, like getting completely lost in a piece of art or music, and by cultivating a profound compassion for others, recognizing that we're all trapped in the exact same cycle of suffering.
But this raises a huge question, right? If Schopenhauer figured out the cure for life's suffering, did he apply it to himself? And this brings us to a central paradox, the massive gap between the philosophy and the philosopher.
You have the philosopher who could boldly declare, "The world is my idea." Just incredible. But then you have the man who lived in profound solitude, with his only companion being a poodle. He diagnosed the sickness of existence with stunning clarity, yet he himself often seemed proud, lonely, and bitter. He'd offer lectures on this deep wisdom to nearly empty halls, while his famous rival, Hegel, packed the auditorium right next door. So how does this 19th century thinker's lonely genius reach into the present day and affect our story? Well, this is where his ideas stop being just theory and become a lifeline.
Schopenhauer's Solitude, that intellectual fortress he built against the world, somehow reached across more than a century to touch another lonely, brilliant man, Dr. Julius Hertzfeld's former patient, Philip Slate. For Philip, Schopenhauer's philosophy wasn't some academic exercise. It was a discipline. It was a way to survive his own emotional chaos.
And so, when Julius seeks Philip out after 20 years, this is the startling claim he's met with. Philip announces that he has cured himself of his crippling sex addiction, not through therapy, not through connection, but through the rigorous daily application of Schopenhauer's philosophy.
This sets the stage for a clash between two totally opposing paths. For Julius,
the career psychotherapist, healing comes from connection, from human warmth. But for Philip, the devoted philosopher, healing comes from detachment and intellectual clarity, from seeing through the very illusions that therapy just tries to help you navigate.
And this leaves us with the ultimate question at the heart of their conflict, and really at the heart of this entire narrative. Can pure, dispassionate wisdom truly take the place of human connection and love? Or is there a point where even the most brilliant philosophy has to surrender to our fundamental need for each other?